Hey, what's up guys? So for this video, I just want to do a quick reaction of this video that piqued my interest. The real reason Greg Souders hates hobbyists. So that kind of caught my attention because my channel is basically all about for the hobbyists, right? How can we learn better? How can we improve as much as we can when we have such little time in training, because life just gets in the way, right? I think most of us have a 9-to-5 job, families, school, just anything that just keeps us away from fully training jujitsu. I mean, to me, jujitsu is not everything, right? It's just part of my life that I like to, like a buffet, right? It's just part of my plate that I like to enjoy whenever I can. So this video is gonna be interesting. So let's get started.
What is it about that those terms, hobbyist and professional? You know, obviously this is part of the conversation almost any time that people talk about jiu-jitsu or how they measure themselves, whether that's good or bad against other people. But what is it about that grinds your gears?
It's a psychological way out. So like the thing is like, do you want to be good at what you do? This is your standard of behavior. If you train 2 days a week, you're going to be, how good can you get in 2 days a week? Or if you want to be a world beater, you're going to have to use most of your life to do it. And so again.
Okay, I mean, I guess that makes sense, right? I mean, if you really wanted to be a world champion, right, you would have to really dedicate a lot of many aspects of your life to make big sacrifices, to put in hard work, to train efficiently and effectively, to just have a chance to be top pro in the world, right? But I'm not like that, okay? I'm that guy who trains 2 times a week or barely 1 time a week because I got my life going on.
When a hobbyist says, I don't really want to put that much pressure on myself, well, great, you're never going to be any good. So what you're telling me when you say you're a hobbyist is that you're not interested in getting better. You're telling me that you have a limit to what.
I mean, the thing is, it's like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is really hard to get into for beginners, right? It's like hard barrier to entry. I believe that people want to get good, right? As hobbyists, we want to get good. We want to see progress, right? We want to use Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as an escape. I think the way to get good, in my definition, is that you reach to a level where it's satisfying enough that you can see you're satisfied in having fun on the mats, right? Rolling with buddies, choking them, just overall a good escape from reality. If someone says, oh, you just want to be a hobbyist because you don't want to get good, dude, I just want to have fun, okay? And having fun and having a good time is kind of like what I'm going for.
What you think you're capable of, and you're going to stop when you get uncomfortable. You're not telling me anything about the nature of skill acquisition. You're telling me who you are. And so that's why it bugs me. Like the thing is I'm going to try to help you. I'm going to try to design practices to make you more skillful.
Okay.
2 days a week, I'm going to try to make you the best 2-day weeker that on planet Earth. You know what I mean? If you're a world beater, I'm going to try to get you there. But again, we can't draw these fucking fake lines. I'd rather someone come say, hey coach, I only got 2 days a week. How good can I be in 2 days a week? Well, how consistently can you train 2 days a week? And we'll see how far you go. But you're probably going to only focus on your friends you're training with in here. You're probably not going to go out there and compete.
Yeah. Okay, I can agree to that. I don't know, the way he says is kind of very, in a way, it's just not that simple. You know what I mean? I mean, most of us can only afford, 1 or 2 times a week, right? And honestly, yeah, you can't really train 2 times a week and expect to be better than the guy who trains 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week, every single day, because clearly they have a motivation to practice like that every day. And honestly, to make the best of 2 times a week is pretty difficult. I am not really sure if Greg Souders really can train someone to be the best out of 2 times a week. I mean, 2 times a week is very hard, especially for beginners, like very hard. How are you going to retain techniques? How are you going to really effectively acquire skill? Because there's retention. The problem is retention. So 2 times a week, by the time you reach the next class, probably like if the class is like 3 days apart, right? How are you going to like retain from the previous class? How are you going to retain the knowledge from the previous class? It's just difficult. But overall, let's go through the comment. Kind of curious at what people are saying. Mate, there's far more to life than jiu-jitsu. Get over yourself and remember, you do not own your students. Okay. As an older practitioner for 13 years with a family, a full-time job, and other responsibilities, jiu-jitsu is not my number one priority. Hey, I feel him. I feel this guy's comment. Health, wellness, and a sense of community is up there. Agree, totally agree, man. And BJJ sometimes checks that box. But it's not my life. There are other things more important. And if a coach were to tell me that they don't have time for me because I'm inconsistent, well, I'll have to take my money and time and invest it else somewhere. Hey, that's pretty fair. Be honest, right? That's pretty fair. That's what I'll take. I think he's confusing priority with character. When you have a full-time job and a family and your goal in jiu-jitsu is not to go to ADCC, this is a matter of prioritization, not character. I've seen many middle-aged guys come join our gym with the goal of losing weight and they accomplish it. That's high character. The fact that Greg prioritizes jiu-jitsu so much means that there is absolutely something he doesn't prioritize in life but takes part in. Whether it be family, friends, another skill, or another, this doesn't mean he has less character. It's immature and not well thought out take on a macro level. But I'm sure it filters out non-competitive jiu-jitsu players in his gym, which seems like his goal on a micro level. That kind of makes sense, right? Let me ask you guys this, for you guys who are really into the ecological, if you happen to see this video, I'm just curious, does ecological will work on a brand new grappler who only trains 1 or 2 times a week? Will it work? Is that really good? Because traditional sense, it's probably not going to work. I've seen a lot of people who come to the gym and they can only train 1 or 2 times a week, and it's like really hard for them because they can't retain anything. You know, they're having a difficult time learning the techniques because they're not in every day to really refine or go over it with a coach or anyone else. So how would it ecological work? Because it's really much environmental, right? To really get the full benefits of ecological, you have to be there like every day to the point where you finally build enough foundational skills, I guess, from ecological to finally be like confident that even if you take 1 week, 2 weeks, month, year off, right? Back in your head, you did it enough to the point where you build your foundation of it. So it's harder to kind of get rid of it. You know what I mean? It's like you learn the language, you spent years of speaking it. Now, even if you stop for a couple of years, your brain will still have the foundation there to rebuild the skill again off from. And it'll be quicker and easier. Hobbyist here. This guy's full of, yeah. Clearly, jiu-jitsu is his job and entire lifestyle. For me, it's a hobby. Shove it. Makes sense. Makes sense. The completion mindset in BJ is toxic. All ego. I'm a hobbyist. I'm 50. I train 5 days a week. I have no desire to fight, compete, or prove anything to anyone. No one should care what anyone thinks of their goals or motivations to practice BJJ. Makes sense? I see his point. I can only get so good coming in twice a week. Versus I'll get as good as I can even if I only come in twice a week. It is a huge difference in mindset. Complete and other BS. I am a hobbyist. I train 5 days a week in my 40s and I have zero interest in the computer. I honestly think Greg Souders, because he's well known, he's well established for himself, you know. I don't know really much about more of his background in jiu-jitsu, but I feel like if there's a lot of people following him, he has results, right? You can respect that. It's just that, well, I don't think hobbyists who show up to his gym, I don't think he has really any hobbyists there. I think what he has is really a lot of serious people who are willing to sacrifice kind of a lot of things in their life, girlfriend, family, job, whatever, right? All for this one thing that they hopefully will compete in the high level. Here's another one. Yeah. I didn't start jiu-jitsu to get good at beating other people who know jiu-jitsu. That's true. People have different goals. And honestly, I kind of really hate that mindset that when I'm at the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym, I have to keep progressing so hard to be dominant on the mats. Like, dude, like, what my coach told me when I was like trying hard, going hard on people on the mats. He's like, what is this? Are you getting like, he said like, are you getting pussy after this? Why are you going so hard? And it just made me realize at that moment, I thought, you're right. Why am I going so hard? I'm not getting anything out of this. Why am I really beating up people trying to prove something, right? There's nothing really to prove. Honestly, it's just overall having fun. I'm not that serious. I'm not planning to be world champion. Why do I have to beat up people at the gym, right? We're all just here. We have our own things that we have to deal with. And this place is a pretty good place for community, an escape from reality, from whatever shit that's going on in our life. It's like why you have to beat someone up just to prove something, huh? Man, these people are really going hard. Like, let me read this one. He's definitely correct in a way, but it's also pretty off-putting in the delivery. One of the problems BJJ has always had is high percentage of people who can essentially dedicate their lives to it are sort of the worst people you'd want to see do it. Definitely a fair account of troublemaker, arrogant, volatile dudes with nothing else going on who are far more concerned with being a bad, than being half a decent person. That said, it's really tough for average dude with a job and a family who doesn't compete regularly or if at all to hang with these types. The key, I think, is you have to be honest with yourself and choose a gym that fits your goals and situation. That's true. That's honestly true. Anyways, guys, I think that's really all I got for this video. It was a quick video to react, only a minute and 30 seconds. And I'm really all about for the hobbyists, and that's what my channel is really all about. Anyways, guys, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.